All right, welcome to another edition, or the latest edition of the Earnestly Speaking podcast. I am your host, Ernest EJ Christian. After a 2-week hiatus, I'm back. I feel refreshed, and it's time to talk about whatever is on your mind. I don't know what's on my mind now, man. I'm just here chilling, man. We just thought about this podcast last minute. On the line with me on a gorgeous Monday afternoon here on Earnestly Speaking TV. Actually, it's the first. We're actually doing a dry run of this podcast today. This thing that actually works. This has actually been a pain in the butt right now, but we'll work with it. We're gonna work with it. On the line with me, of course, is my man, one of the contributors here to Earnestly Speaking, Mike the Squid. Mike, what's up?
What's going on, EJ? How we doing today?
Well, after about 35 minutes of trying to figure out this whole Google Hangout setup, I finally figured it out.
This is true. This is true. We've been running through it.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things where you just gotta stay with it, man. At some point you'll figure it out. There's a reason. There's a reason why it works. This is not a attempt to not have me to be a part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is a little soft launch here we're gonna try here. As you know, but it's just like look, you guys. It's been 4 years now I've been doing this podcast, and this is the way I do it. Microphone and me and people on the line. That's it. It's not nothing fancy. I'm in a big studio. Look. My pets are right down the hall, right there. So it's not nothing fancy. It's not big time here. I'm just doing what we gotta do here.
Doing a job.
Yeah. How's your weekend? Pretty good.
Good. Worked on Friday. Went to a wedding Saturday, and yesterday just hung out with people and watched some baseball and reading up on some of the newest Hulk Hogan transgressions.
Dude, I think I have the worst luck when it comes to like 80s heroes.
Yeah.
Like if I tell you right now, my personal Mount Rushmore of 80s heroes. Okay, this is my Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Michael Jackson.
Over one.
Dead. Okay. Bruce Lee.
Over two.
Dead. Okay. Then you got Bill Cosby.
Over three.
Now a accused rapist.
The Jello pudding.
Jello, yeah, exactly. And then now Hulk Hogan, who's an alleged rapist. And you guys that know me well, I'm not a current wrestling fan anymore. I don't watch it anymore, as a present day fan, because I just don't. But I still own the network because of the fact that I love the old school stuff.
Of course.
Even though I already own the stuff already, even though I own it on VHS on the Coliseum home video, I still own this. I still want the networks. I wanted to have all the access. And I'm a Hulkamaniac. I am a Hulkamaniac, card carrying Hulkamaniac. Yep. And when I saw this news drop, on Friday, and literally the news woke me up because Friday morning I get a little disclaimer from Bleacher Report and from a couple of the sites I follow. I'm like, oh boy, he got fired for what this time? And the whole thing was exploded on the internet, of course, on Twitter. So yeah, Hogan and I guess racist comments he made 8 years ago. WWE not only fired him, but here's what really bothered me about this whole thing. They scrubbed out pretty much him as though he's never existed on that roster. That bothered me. Let me ask you, what's your thoughts? What was your thoughts when you heard this news first off?
Back, seeing that it was 8-9 years ago, it didn't really surprise me back seeing how everything has changed drastically over the last 5 to 10 years. Stuff like that 8 to 10 years ago, unfortunately, wasn't uncommon. I think a lot of things have changed. WWE going about it the way they have. I'm not going to be the one to say that it was too drastic of a step. They made a step as a multi-million-dollar shareholding company. Hogan being,
but really,
they lost $50 million on Friday alone.
I saw a report. Is that report? See, I'm not sure if that report's actually true though. I know I actually was one of the guys that actually retweeted that whole story. It wouldn't shock me either because actually, if you think about it, based on what we've been reading, post Friday, Hogan's getting a lot of support.
He is, but WWE also is going to lose money because they pulled all of his merchandise. Pulled NWO merchandise because he was a part of the group.
Whoa, NWO too?
Yeah, they pulled it earlier today.
Wait, what does Scott Hall and Kevin Nash have to do with this? What?
Because he was part of it, they pulled it. I read about it earlier this morning. I completely agree with you. I think that is a whole line of BS. I don't get WWE. I mean, I get it because they are a multi-million-dollar, globally shared organization, but still, at the end of the day, you have to look up and go, without him, there is no WWE. We don't buy WCW. We don't have the money to be the number one running organization for probably all of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. What bothered me about this whole thing too, especially, is the fact that look, if you want to fire Hogan, that's one thing. I can't tell Vince how to run his company. Exactly. I'm not going to tell Vince how to run his company, obviously. But what bothered me about the whole thing going forward is, why did they have to go the extra mile of scrubbing his name out of the history books? Like, he's not, like, obviously he's a Hall of Famer. He's no longer listed as such anymore. Obviously, he's done so many great things with the winning multiple titles with the company. You don't know that anymore now as of Friday last week.
I kind of, and this is where it probably leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. He's almost getting the Chris Benoit effect.
Yeah, and last I checked, Chris Benoit. Last I checked, Hogan didn't suicide his family. That's just what I'm looking at.
I agree with you. I agree with you 150%. I don't believe what they've done to Hogan is fair. I believe that it is something that is going to end up backfiring on them heavily. The supposed talk was Hogan Austin or Hogan and somebody at Mania next year in Dallas. That's off the table now. There goes, you're bringing in your nostalgia fans, like yourself, that haven't followed the program for 10 to 15 years. Hold on. I think I lost you. I can't hear you. No, can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Woo-hoo. Can't hear you, Captain. It doesn't surprise me that you can hear me just fine, but I can't hear you to save my life. No. I can see you. I can see you. I can't hear you. Hello? No, can't hear you. I can't hear you. I just can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Oh.
No?
No, there. Oh, I hear you.
You be fine?
I hear you now.
Oh, what the hell was that all about?
I don't know. I just went and changed something in the settings that it played over
That's
the speaker.
on you. That's on you. That's on you, Squid. That's on you.
I don't do Google Hangout.
You do now.
I do now.
By the way, one of the cool. Oh, I was going to tell you the other day was when I last saw you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we're gonna start doing probably during the football season. I imagine you're gonna be at our boy Craig's house, right? During football season on Sundays, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I want to start doing is I want to gather the guys up, me, you, Craig, a couple of our friends, to do like a quick 10-minute little round table every week before the games kick off. And we're gonna do it live, on Periscope, and see some of our followers that follow me on the show. See, get their give our thoughts on the week ahead and whatnot. Something I want to try. I want to try out.
I'm in.
Start week one. I mean, I think it's cool. Craig loves the idea. He loved the idea. I have to get him on here too because of the fact that him is so tired of Seahawks talk, man.
Sea chickens.
Love him, and I like the Seahawks. I love the Seahawks too, man. But he's getting on my butt now because apparently I can't let go of basketball just yet. Really,
that's
Craig?
A lot of people though.
You too? Yeah, let's say it. Let's admit it. It's okay. It's okay.
Nah.
Back to the Hogan talk.
Yes.
Back to Hogan talk. Because now you can hear me now. It's great.
Yes.
What bothered me about the whole thing, and you mentioned Chris Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
What bothered me the whole thing is the fact that it wasn't that, and I was very vocal about this all weekend long. It wasn't the fact that Hogan got fired. Look, it's Vince's call. If Vince wants to fire him for whatever reason, fine. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But to scrub the guy from everything that ever exists, that he ever done with that company for 30 plus years, okay? And it's funny, you went to Benoit route too. That's the first thing I thought about when I said that. I was like, wait, hold on a second. This is not a murder-suicide situation, okay? He said comments off the record. And not only that, it was said 8 years ago. 8 years ago. 8.
Yeah. That's the alarming thing.
You understand that? You understand 8 years ago, George W. Bush was still president? I mean, 8 years ago.
8 years ago, that something he said wasn't out of the realm of 100% possible.
Right, but and then what gets me to I don't want to go. Look, I'm going to go here anyway because I'm sorry. I'm going to go here. The hypocrisy of it all too, knowing Vince and seeing what he's done through the years with the product on screen, with the racially insensitive
absolutely
storylines and even comments too. He has actually dropped the N-word himself on camera. Remember that skitty with Booker T back then with Cena?
Booker and Cena. Yep.
Yeah, that thing. And you're gonna fire him, not only fire him, but scrub him off the history books of the WWE because you want to be politically correct. That bothers me.
I've had this conversation with multiple people. Vince's time with the company should be over. He should turn the keys to Paul, a.k.a. Triple H, Stephanie, and take his $76 billion, go buy 47 islands, and never be seen again.
You're not a Vince guy, are you?
I was. I loved what he did in the company in the 90s, revolutionized wrestling as a whole. But, he is if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I feel that there are guys that are in development right now that are guys that have busted their asses to get here, guys that are just starting to get pushes. Cesaro, Owens, Balor, guys like that, are always going to have to take a back road to guys like Cena and those guys, and I don't have a problem with Cena being the quote unquote gatekeeper. The supposed talk for SummerSlam in 5 weeks in New York at Barclays is going to be Rollins versus Cena for the world title. And I've gotten into many arguments with friends of mine, as I'm still an avid wrestling fan, and I'll actually be at SummerSlam in Barclays. The thing is, everyone thinks Cena's going to win the title. And I've been very adamant that this calendar year of John Cena has been the best year he's had in ring. And nobody wants to give Cena credit. They all want to give the guys that he's facing credit, which last time I checked, it took 2 to tango.
That's true.
So you can't. So I mean, yes, Cena does the quote 5 moves of doom. He always does the same 5 moves in every match. But the fact of the matter is you got to understand, Vince McMahon is about the bottom line dollar. He's got a guy.
That's quite obvious there. That is quite obvious with his decision making here, especially in this situation.
The biggest mistake he made in the last 3 years was breaking the Shield up, because they were going to be a money getter. They were going to be the NWO of the 2000s, but they broke them up to move Rollins into the title picture and Reigns and Ambrose wherever they are. But Cena is a guy that you can change the color of his T-shirt once every 3 weeks, and he'll sell 1 million fucking T-shirts every week.
Yeah.
He is honestly.
Is he polarizing? I mean, I don't watch anymore, but I don't like from what people tell me about John Cena. He's now the modern day Hogan in the sense where
he is.
He was so loved at the peak of his powers that it almost turned people off at some point, and that's
absolutely where it's clear. If you go back and watch any of these,
so that's an accurate analogy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go back and watch any of the pay-per-views from this year, you hear him come out, and his song hits, the crowd. It's 50-50 down the middle, and then half the time during the chorus of his song, it turns into John Cena sucks chants to the beat of his song.
But it's funny though; he's actually a very likable guy, though. He's a very likable guy.
I mean, honestly, he really is. I ran into him one time years ago before he became huge at a car show in DC when I was living up there. Really nice guy, down to earth, was someone that you would think in the grand scheme of things would be a guy that you would want to hand the ball to your company and have him run. And,
right.
He has run. But everyone wants to go, oh, we want to see what this guy can do. Well, the problem is how can you take the ball out of the guy's hand, to use the football reference? How can you take the ball out of Marshawn Lynch's hand and throw it to somebody?
I want to call Big Craig. I want to call Big Craig now and say, hey, buddy, how you feeling? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, because I was pissed. Actually, there's a story behind that too, but the whole that play. My wife Lauren absolutely hates the Patriots, and as mad as I was with that play, and then I'm not a pastor myself. Oh, she was cussing up, and my wife isn't. Well, let's not go there, but she's emotional in that sense, and she's not even a football fan, But she knows two things. She knows that she hates football, and then she hates Tom Brady and the Patriots. That's two things she knows about football. And I wish I had actually recorded that video. That would have been awesome of that night. With her going off. It's like, what are you doing? Who's that dumb coach? I'm like, they're defending champions, by the way.
The year before they didn't have to worry about trying to run the ball. 12 seconds left. They're up by 60.
But okay, so back to Hogan quickly before we go to the next topic. When we talk about Hogan's legacy, obviously we know we don't need to discuss that. We know what Hogan's done through the years, what he means to the company. I've already told you Hogan's the greatest of all time, even more than Austin, even more than Rock, because two things. There's one specific reason why Hogan's the greatest of all time. And I keep telling people this, and people argue with this, but then when I tell them this fact, they say, "Oh, okay, I get it." Hogan's the only guy that changed the game twice. Hulkamania and WO. Period. In discussion.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
Hogan, greatest of all time. Austin is the wrestler that saved pro wrestling.
Yes. Made it relevant again after it fell apart. Yes.
After it fell apart, after Hogan left WWE and went to WCW, and even as the NWO was forming, Austin coming out, he was the wrestler that saved pro wrestling. As a whole, the relevancy of it. Yes. Oh yes. Steve Austin is the one that saved wrestling, but Hulk Hogan is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what's going to happen here too. This is my prediction. This will blow over at some point. This whole thing with Hogan and the WWE, give it time to pass. Let this thing sit. Remember, Hogan's going to a trial against Gawker.com, the sex tape stuff, and he's going to probably end up winning that trial anyway, regardless. And I think after time passes, and once WWE figure things out, I think slowly but surely you'll see Hogan back on WWE programming in 2 years. In 2 years, because 2 years now in this climate, in 2015 now, 2 years is a long time. Like years ago, 2 years would have been way too soon. 2 years now with social media, because look, this story will go away in about a week or two. Okay, give this about a year or two, and Hogan's back on TV, and no one really remembers what happened this last Friday.
Absolutely, and I think the logical standpoint is the place and play for WrestleMania 33 is Toronto, the Sky Dome. Place where he had probably the greatest match that he ever had at WrestleMania with Warrior. Unfortunately, Warrior's not going to be there.
Whoa!
That was one of his greatest matches.
Get out of here! Yeah, because Hogan, because he carried Warrior in that whole match. Every match the Warriors has done is great. Hogan carried or Macho carried that at WrestleMania 7.
I agree with you 150%. But I'm saying one of Hogan's greatest matches was Warrior in the Sky Dome at WrestleMania 6. And with that potentially being the location for WrestleMania 33, might be good to bring him back, because
next year or the year after?
Not this year. This 2016 is going to be Dallas at Jerry Jones's Mega Funplex.
Are you going again?
I will be there. I'm going to buy my plane ticket.
You've gone how many now? You've gone to what, 5 WrestleManias?
I've gone to 5. Dallas will be 6.
Well, so basically you have more WrestleMania appearances than LeBron James has rings.
Pretty much.
Wow, you impressed me, brother. You impressed me, and you travel. Look, if I had the money when I was younger, well, I was a poor little kid back in the day. I didn't see WrestleMania 6 live, but I remember hearing the updates and stuff. This is 1990, okay? Basically the internet didn't even exist, at least in my world anyway. To me, I didn't hear about the results of WrestleMania until like 2 days after because there's no way to find out until somebody tells you. And it's amazing how you now travel to all these events like it's nothing. I'm going to another event. I'm going to SummerSlam in August. No big deal. Yeah, Barclays. No problem.
That should be a good.
I hate you, Mike. I envy you so much, and I wish I had the passion of wrestling that you have now. That I wish I had that now too. But the thing is, this is my problem with wrestling, and I think I might have discussed this with you actually one time or somebody else. Actually, it was Matt Whitener I discussed this with back in when we did our baseball preview show back in March. Was that the thing with wrestling today, and compared to when I watched it back then, is that the surprise element was what made it great back in the day. You don't have that anymore because of social media. Because you find out the fact that on my cell phone I'm getting results of matches literally seconds after it's over, and then you go on Facebook and you go on Twitter, and the WWE feed is telling you what's going on. Yeah, I think hurts the product. I'm sorry, it does.
It absolutely does. There have been shows that I haven't been able to watch live that I've gotten the results spoiled for me by the app texting me who won, and I'm like, well, now I don't really feel like sitting through your 3-hour show.
Now I'm going to have to unfollow your ass now. If I cared about that much.
Yeah, now I'm not going to really want to watch your 3-hour show that you just told me the results for every match after it happened.
Exactly. And that's why it's so weird to me to watch wrestling today and seeing tweets go through the screen while I'm watching wrestling. I'm not used to that because back then
it didn't happen.
When I was raised, a storyline between Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan lasted a year and a half. From February 87 to August 88. Okay, that's how long that storyline lasted. Okay, you're lucky at one storyline could last a month now.
I think the best thing is a lot of people last couple weeks, especially after the last pay-per-view Battleground where Undertaker returned, cost Brock Lesnar the World Heavyweight title, which is now leading to Brock Taker at SummerSlam. Everyone was like, "Well, it took the Undertaker." Yes, they announced it Monday. They said, oh, well, why did Brock wait, or why did Undertaker wait so long to get Brock? And I said, well, the reality is this is going back to that, Okay, well, I took you out a year ago and ended your streak. I was in a world title match. The belt was robbed from me. I took what was most precious from you away. You made sure I didn't get what was most precious back to me. Kind of like the eye for an eye, and I thought that was really good on WWE's part to not rush that SummerSlam of last year. Oh, well, he beat my streak. I need to get my revenge because Brock was being built as this unstoppable machine.
Which he is, by the way. Kind of.
I don't want fucking any piece of that motherfucker.
I think Paul Heyman's actually. I think if anything, the only guy that would get me to watch that stuff again is Paul Heyman.
Absolutely,
seriously, he's phenomenal.
Probably the greatest promo guy of the 2000s.
As a manager. Oh, okay. Well, in general.
In general, there's nobody in the 2000s that if you give him a microphone.
Great topic. Quickly. Top Mount Rushmore of promo guys all time. It could be manager, it could be wrestlers all time.
Ooh, Rock.
We had a discussion about radio show actually a couple weeks ago.
Rock, Heyman, Austin.
If you don't say it, I'm going to kill you.
Uh,
If you don't say, I'm going to kill you.
There's so many guys that you can put it for. There really are.
Savage? Hello?
That's what it was him, you know.
Even Hogan himself?
Hogan on a good day could cut a above average promo.
Well, look, to me, I appreciate Hogan's promos after he turned heel. It's like, whoa, you can pull this off too? Whoa. Yeah.
Another guy that never got enough credit for his promos.
Yeah.
Was a guy like Eddie Guerrero.
He was great. I thought
Bradshaw never got enough credit whenever he went to that money-making Texas billionaire gimmick that he did. He never got a lot of credit for his promos.
Kurt Angle?
Yeah, early in Kurt's career, he was good. You know, towards the latter part of his year in WWE, it became the same. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. You guys should fear me because I can break your neck, or I won this with a broken neck. It turned repetitive, which it's hard to keep selling someone when you're throwing the same thing at them. I mean, that's the thing with Cena. He never throws the same thing at someone week after week after week after week. The same thing with Brock. You know, Rocky always had somebody new to pick on or a new punchline or always threw something else out there that was different. Same with Austin. McMahon could cut a good promo whenever he was ranting about Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But there's so many strong contenders. I don't think you could pick 4 clear names and say these are the 4 best.
Let's talk some baseball. Fix my Mets. By the way, fix my Mets. Because, by the way, the fact they came with a split against LA this weekend was amazing. The 4-game split, because if you saw the way game 1 and 2 started out, game 1, obviously Kershaw's amazing performance on Thursday. Then Friday, Friday's game also too, they couldn't hit anything. And then they explode on Saturday, and then they win a thriller yesterday afternoon. Mm-hmm. Every time I feel like I'm getting discouraged by the Mets this year, I feel encouraged again. Then I feel discouraged again. Then I feel encouraged again. And yet, the only 2 back of the NL East. Here's the bottom line at the Mets: they're not getting the playoffs, winning a wild card. Their only way of getting in, honestly, is going to be through winning the division, because there's no way in hell they're leapfrogging the Pirates and or the Cubs and or the Cardinals today, even if they were to fall back in the division. There's no way in hell it's going to happen.
I wouldn't surrender the wild card just yet.
I surrendered. Bye. White flag.
I don't like Chicago's rotation. I do not. Jason Hamill got rocked a couple nights ago. I mean, I love John Lester. He was a sock. He was drafted a sock. I'll always have admiration for John Lester, but that bullpen is not good. Jason Mott has had a great year, but Hector Rondon, hit or miss. The best players they have, Anthony Rizzo's hitting 140 since the All-Star game when he hit in the home run derby. Right. Kyle Schwaber, the Futures Game MVP, is salvaging them at catcher because David Ross and Miguel Montero's hurt. David Ross pretty much only catches John Lester. Right. Starling Castro isn't hitting great. Their outfield, what have you done for me lately? I mean, the headline when they got no hit by Philadelphia was Dexter Fowler walks twice. Not, oh, hey, congratulations, Cole Hamels, you got the better of us today. Their Twitter headline was Dexter Fowler walks twice. You're grasping for straws, and that's the scary part. And I think the Cubs have to make a move for pitching, because unfortunately, even if they win a wild card, they're going to have to go to Pittsburgh, and they're going to face
a one game playoff. Ain't happening. They ain't going to beat Pittsburgh.
They're going to have to go into Pittsburgh and beat Garrett Cole. That's hard to do. Or if for some reason, say you do get past Garrett Cole, okay, then you're getting either St. Louis, the Dodgers, or the Nationals in the first round. You tell me what team they line up against with this current lineup and this current rotation, because it's none of them. The Cubs need to make a move, and they need to make a move fast. The move to make, that I can't pinpoint, because the pitchers that are available, Cole Hamels, Giovanni Gallardo, if Texas decides to sell, which they are on the fence about, David Price. You got
and that we'll get to in a second, because I want to talk about David Price and the Tigers, because I'm kind of iffy on that whole thing, because I think you and I off the record discussed this last week about what they should be doing and
yes.
whatnot.
Yes.
But with the Mets, okay, You've been very vocal about your position with the Mets in terms of what they should do. Look, so here's the deal: they're 2 back in NL East. The Nationals haven't completely run away with this thing yet. Every time we thought they were going to run away with it, they
always get hurt.
Well, yeah, and that's that's who they are at this point. The Nats are going to be who they are, but I still feel like they're going to run away with it probably in August. But here's my question.
Okay.
And the Mets obviously made some moves this going into the weekend. They brought in Kelly Johnson from Atlanta. Uribe, who had a game-winning hit in extra innings yesterday against the Dodgers. So you already seen those guys, and Johnson's playing well already too. So you've seen those guys that they acquired already helping the team. As it is, which I'm to be honest, I'm still shocked about it, and I'm still not. I don't know.
I told you on Friday when we talked about it. It wasn't. That isn't the move to get you over the hump. That's a move that's going to help benefit you in the long run. I feel that Kelly Johnson brings the depth that he can play second base. He can play shortstop. He can play third. Probably put him in the corner outfield, and he'll be salvageable. Uribe's a very good hitting third baseman. He hit very well in
by the way, I'm going to credit you real quick though. By the way, thank you for talking me off the ledge last week. Because me being concerned, Met fan. Oh, what do we do? Because my thing is my fear is that because the Mets are so stupid. Because they're historically stupid. You know this, okay? I'm not making this up. This is as factual as it gets.
Yeah.
This is as factual as it gets.
Absolutely.
Okay. That they will dip into their top 4 rotation just to get a hitter who will probably end up leading them next year.
You're right.
That's how dumb they are.
Now,
when you know to win championships in baseball, especially in this present day climate of baseball, you need pitching. Period.
Absolutely. You need pitching, but you also need hitting. And we've talked about it on a couple occasions. You don't sell the farm to win right now because I don't think they're ready to win right now. I think they're a year or 2 away, but there are potential moves long-term that could drastically help the New York Mets. Name floating around at this deadline is Jay Bruce. Bruce, under contract for next year, $12.5 million. His option for 2017 is a $13 million option with a $4 million buyout. Basically, you're getting the rest of this year, all of next year, and possibly 2017.
Right.
Now, the name floated around for Jay Bruce is Zach Wheeler. If that's the price for Jay Bruce, I jump on it immediately because Zach Wheeler had Tommy John surgery. For every one pitcher that pitches like Matt Harvey after Tommy John surgery, you get the guys that pitch like me. You're so hit or miss. So I think if Wheeler is the best prospect you have to give up to get Jay Bruce, and he's hurt right now.
So you're okay with getting Wheeler because I've heard Wheeler's name spin around a lot this weekend.
The best Zach Wheeler's going to be in your rotation is the 5th starter
right now.
So if you're getting, I don't think he gets better than any of the 4 guys you have right now. I don't think he gets better than Matz. I don't think he gets better than Syndergaard.
Even though we've never seen him actually pitch like this in a longer sample size.
I don't think he gets better than the 4 guys you have right now.
So you're sold these 4 guys, Matz and Syndergaard and Harvey and
DeGrom.
And DeGrom. And DeGrom's amazing. I think I'm not gonna go there yet because I think the sample's still too small. But my boy Matt Weiner, I had a reference again on the radio show. He asked me a question about 3 weeks ago. He goes, EJ, I got a question for you guys. I said, what? He goes, who's really the best pitcher in the best rotation? Is it really Harvey or is it really DeGrom? Because DeGrom is balling. And since that comment, he's still balling.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I think if you have to pick 2 guys that are untouchable in that rotation to be your 1-2 punch for years down the road, it's Harvey and it's DeGrom. That's no offense to Syndergaard or Matz. I just think that you've seen what these 2 guys bring to the table every day they get the ball. And I think those are the guys that you really run with. So if Zach Wheeler's name is the name that gets you Jay Bruce, to get you that power hitting corner outfielder, because Michael Kadire is at the final legs of his days. I don't know how much more he's got left in the tank. On the disabled list again. A couple more names.
Thin. They're just so thin. I mean, you got Granderson who's trying his best out there, man.
Granderson's gone. Granderson's gone at the end of the year. And honestly, if Granderson is a guy that gets moved in a salary kind of trade, a la the trade that I've kind of talked to you a little bit about. Yes.
Right now?
Listen, The trade I was talking to you about, Carlos Gomez and Ryan Braun. Ryan Braun, 2016 through 2018 has $20 million
which, by the way, guys, this to kind of set it up for you real quick. You had on the last pod we did back in, I believe it was in May, has suggested that the Mets tap into the Milwaukee Brewers
put the kegerator on
roster. No, you said Gomez definitely, but you threw up Braun, which I thought was fascinating. I was like, Braun, why would you? Is he even on the block? I don't think he's on the block at all, but I don't know.
So, just realistically, if you can get Gomez $9 million next year, then he's a free agent in 2017. So you get the end of this year, a full year from him. Braun is under contract through 2020, with 2021 being a option year where you can sign for $15 million or a $4 million buyout. And then the mystery name that if you can get now, package deal, Gomez, Braun, and Gene Segura for Granderson. Now this is where Met Nation's going to go insane. If you can get him for Granderson, Syndergaard, or Matz, and a prospect or two. So you don't have to kill the entire farm, but you can still reel in a guy that's going to hit 25 home runs in Ryan Braun. A guy that's going to hit 290, get on base a lot in Carlos Gomez, and probably the third best defensive shortstop in the National League in Gene Segura. I think that's an option. And the other option is you go to Colorado and you say, what do you want for Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki?
Tulowitzki, the guy who never, ever, 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 every it seems like every
trade deadline,
every summer, he's always like the front runner, like the headliner of this thing, and never gets moved.
Well, he's always hurt at the trade deadline. It's the first time he's really been healthy at the trade deadline.
Is it convenience?
Just saying. The Mets have contacted Colorado, according to sources, about Tulowitzki. Everything.
Wait, today?
In general, they've had conversations. Tulo is very adamant that he wants to stay in Colorado. The reality is he's under contract through 2020, as is Ryan Braun, with that same $15 million or $4 million buyout for 2021. The big problem that I see with the Met organization: first base, shortstop, corner outfield. Those are the three big glaring weaknesses I see. And the fourth one could be fixed with one simple phone call, and that's the bullpen. Because the reality is,
the bullpen's kind of shaky. Mejia was kind of that's right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is there's a certain gentleman that has pitched in the National League East.
Oh, come on, just say it. Just say it.
Currently pitches in San Diego.
No, just say it.
Craig Kimbrell. If the Mets can go acquire Craig Kimbrell from the Padres, who are looking to sell, you'll have him this year, all of next year, and I believe he has an option for 2017. If it's not an option, then you're gonna send him a qualifying offer, and you're gonna get a top 20 draft pick for him. So, I personally feel that if you can put Craig Kimbrell in the ninth inning, it's definitely going to make things a little bit easier. If you have Harvey and Syndergaard and DeGrom, that can go 7, 8
innings. Yeah, exactly.
And then you really turn the ball over to one of the best closers in baseball, and that is Craig Kimbrell.
It's a shame because this team, with a few bats, could be a team that can go to the World Series with this position.
I completely agree with you, especially with the National League.
I can't believe I'm saying this right now. I'm actually saying this to you right now, the Mets.
But I'm not a fan of the National League, to be completely honest with you. And it's no offense to any of those guys. There's no team out there that scares me. The Dodgers, what Clayton Kershaw with his 7.5 ERA.
The thing is, though, here's the thing, though. You say that. Here's the problem with that statement, though. Every year's that way, and they still find a way to win the World Series. Every year is the same thing. That they don't look scary. Oh, St. Louis, they just whatever. In San Francisco,
it's no.
They come into
it's the Cardinals and the Giants. It's the Cardinals and the Giants, and it's a even year, or it's an odd year, so the Giants aren't going to win it. So bye Felicia. The Cardinals.
Don't do that. Don't buy Felicia me. What is that?
The Giants.
Get out of here with that.
The Giants won't make the playoffs this year.
They're making it, right? You don't think they're making it?
They don't have enough starting pitching.
Again,
they They fade late. They fade late August.
You should bet dinner on that. I disagree with you on that one. You want to bet dinner on that?
All right, we're in. We're in. Other talks. The Mets called Atlanta today about Andrelton Simmons. Basically, the reports coming back with that is
that's
quote,
actually
unreachable.
Oh, the guy in Oakland that you mentioned earlier.
Which
the
one?
Guy that Mets, the guy
Ben
in Oakland. Huh?
Ben Zobrist?
Another guy, the guy that you said might go to New York also, because there's some reports coming in now that that actually might work out.
Tyler Clifford?
Yes, that guy.
Okay, the reliever, the closer.
Yeah, that's actually on the verge of happening now.
Oh, it is.
According to this report. Yeah, no, that's what I'm reading here on my phone. Let me ask you a question though.
Yep.
Quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think outside the Mets, of course, and I can't believe I'm actually this, and I love baseball, but I can't believe this has been a long time since I actually dedicated a podcast in the middle of summer talking baseball like this. David Price and the Tigers.
Yes.
The Tigers are still in this. They're still hanging around. They're not. Well, I mean, they can still make some noise. A lot of people are saying that the Tigers, regardless where they're at, they should blow it up because of the fact that even if they get in the playoffs, the chances of them actually winning anything is slim to none, because there's something about this mix they have that can't go over the hump. They can go to the ALDS, ALCS, maybe even the World Series, but for some reason they can't get to the gold. David Price, he's a free agent at the end of the year. First off, if you're the Tigers, you let him go?
Yeah, you got to see what you get back for him. I mean, the reality is you're going to offer him a qualifying offer. It means you're going to get a top 10 to 15 draft pick, because one of those teams, they're going to pay him, especially if he hits free agency. Boston will be a team that goes after him, and they're going to have a top 15 draft pick. The Red Sox are going to go after him, cut and dry. I know they are. So the reality is if you think the haul you can get back for him is going to be better than the one prospect you get at 15, then why not? The reality is David Price has said that he's probably not going to sign an extension in Detroit. There's rumors circulating that he's gone. You can't offer Cespedes a qualifying offer because of the international free agency. He's automatically a free agent with no potential qualifying offer attached to him. Miguel Cabrera is getting a little older. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the final swan song for Victor Martinez. Mm-hmm. So I think the thing is you got to think about is if they blow it up, it might be time to blow it up. Alex Avila getting a little older behind the plate with the concussions. He might not be able.
Cabrera. How about Trey Miggy? Ooh,
you can't.
I didn't say that. Trey Miggy? Whoa. Tiger fans, don't get mad at me.
While it sounds great, that contract you can't move because you're not going to get enough money to
make it happen.
Cushion the blow. So I mean, the reality is honestly the only team in the American League that's in 100% sell mode right now is the Oakland A's. So I feel like they're the only team that is in 100% sell mode. Clippard's going to be gone. Zobrist probably gone. Potential talks that they might trade All-Star Stephen Vogt, which I don't agree with. I've seen that floating around. I don't believe Vogt should be moved. So I wouldn't move Vogt. So I think the reality is David Price does go. It's where does he go? Texas is very adamant that they are not trading for rentals. They are more going for guys like Cole Hamel that have a couple years left on the contract. The Dodgers are in play for David Price, but they refuse to give up shortstop prospect Corey Seager or outfield prospect Julio Urias. So you got to figure out what you can get from them. Especially they're in need for pitching now that Brett Anderson's out for an undisclosed amount of time with his ankle. And Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs the last 2 years when he faced St. Louis, his ERA is north of 6.5. And they're gonna face St. Louis again. And it seems like St. Louis is the voodoo of Clayton Kershaw. So, the Padres, a team out in the National League, they're a team that is in sell mode, looking for them to move guys. Like I said, Kimbrel, Upton. He's a rental because he's a free agent at the end of the year. So if they trade him, he can't be offered a qualifying offer. They're probably going to move Benoit too, Joaquin Benoit, the reliever. The big name that they could move to get a haul back is Tyson Ross under contract for another 5 years of team control. So I think that's a name that could be moved. The rumor going around right now is the Yankees are kicking the tires on 3 different closers: Chapman, Kimbrell, and potentially Jonathan Papelbon to go with Betances and Miller, so they could turn into the Kansas City Royals, basically. But I think the first shot was fired when Houston acquired Scott Kazmir.
Yeah.
I think that made them perennial favorites in the American League.
Now, I would have thought, be honest with you, not to cut you off, I would have thought though that when prior to Cueto going to KC yesterday, which shocked everybody, I didn't see that coming.
No,
I mean,
that was out of left field. That really was.
I thought KC would have went after the Price first. To be honest with you, and see if they can give the form. But Cueto, Cueto was available. I mean, Cueto, he said even with a rough year, and a little bit of injuries here and there, he's still having a pretty decent year ERA wise.
Yeah, absolutely. That one was out of left field. I thought the name circling around Kansas City more was Jeff Samardzija.
Okay.
Because he's inevitably going to be moved from the Chicago White Sox. But he's a name that Houston's also been attached to. And if they can go get him, I think that makes Houston the favorite to win the American League this year. With a 1-2-3 punch of Kazmir, Keuchel, and Jeff Samardzija, to go with Colin McHugh and Lance McCullers. That's a team that could get dangerous, And they're a group of kids, and I'm going to use the word kids because I think the oldest guy on that team is probably Evan Gaddis, who they went and got, to be a clubhouse leader. Those kids are just crazy enough to not care what anybody thinks. They're crazy enough to go out and win games they're not supposed to. You keep telling those kids no, and they're going to find a way to do it. And they're doing this all without George Springer. Springer's on the disabled list with a broken thumb or torn ligament in his thumb. He's out until probably the middle of August. So there's their bat that they're going to acquire. You're going to get your starting right fielder back off the disabled list. And I think that's going to be huge for them. They don't have to go out and trade for a guy like Adam Lind or Jay Bruce because they're getting Springer back in August.
So give me a prediction then. Will Dave Price be gone from Detroit end of this week?
Price to the Dodgers.
The Dodgers?
Yes, I say Price to the Dodgers, and I believe the Dodgers come off of either Seager or Yoharis for it to happen. They won't come off of both of them, but I think they come off of one to get David Price to win right now because this Dodgers team is built for now.
Right. All right. Before I let you go, last question. Before I let you go,
okay.
And I want to ask you this. NFL. So I want to save all the cool NFL topics for August. We're still training camp open this week, but I want to ask you quickly. Give me 3 storylines in the NFL entering camp now that most interest you right now. 3. Give me 3 on top of your head that are most interesting to you.
Jameis Winston.
Whoa! Wow. Okay.
I want to see how he does meshing with good receiving targets. Mike Evans. Those guys. I want to see how he meshes with that system.
Is VJack still there?
I believe so.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see what Jameis can do. Story number 2. There's reports right now about Junior Gillette getting cut from the Saints and going on a couple of very profane laced text mess or tweets off of his girlfriend's account, basically calling Sean Payton a Molly abuser and stuff like that. So I'm kind of intrigued, I guess, by that, but I wouldn't say it's in my top 3. I'm also I want to see what the Niners do. Losing 3/4 of their starting team. I'm intrigued by them to see what goes with them. And I'm going to go homer with this one because I'm a Bengal fan. I want to see what happens with Marvin Jones. Everybody last year, Andrew Hawkins went to Cleveland. Everybody said, "Oh, AJ, Marvin, they're going to be a great 1-2 punch." And Marvin breaks his foot, which killed us. And it sucked. We could have used him late in those games when we were playing Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and they were allowed to double cover. AJ. So Marvin coming back from injury, Tyler Eifert coming back from injury. I'm interested to see what happens with Giovanni Bernard and how that goes with Jeremy Hill. Them two together. And then of course Andy Dalton. The ginger with no soul has to get it done this year.
The red rifle.
And I think as much as I want to say I think he gets it done, you know, I hope we get a playoff win this year. If he doesn't, it might be time to turn the reins over to AJ McCarron.
Think so, huh?
I think this is that year where you have to put the pressure on Marvin and Andy and say, you got to win now. You know, and I think if Marvin doesn't get a playoff win this year, he's gone.
I'm not going to claim the Noah's contract necessarily in detail, but for what I understand, if my memory serves correctly, somebody broke down his contract last year when he signed an extension. People were like, "Oh my god, all the money!" For what I heard, that after year 2, they can actually buy him out or actually cut him and take a very light hit.
Like it's like a $2 million.
Right. So that I mean,
I think that's why the reality of it is, you know, Andy and Marvin got to win now. If they don't win now, then, you know, I believe that the coach and the quarterback are gone.
And it sucks too for the Bengals because, like, look, the Ravens and the Steelers aren't going to be bad forever. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's just going to hang out and be a bad team.
The thing is, the Bengals are actually picked to finish 3rd this year. You know, Baltimore and Pittsburgh are still projected to finish above them. You know, I don't agree with that. You know, I don't like Pittsburgh defensively this year. I think they lost too many pieces. You know, they're always going to be good offensively. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben always finds a way to get stuff done. You know, Baltimore, I think they took a couple blows offensively, but, you know, they always find a way to get it done. And the real wild card in all of it is Cleveland. Just, you know, Cleveland come out 1 week and get them, you know, just because you never know what you're going to get with that Cleveland Brown team.
So there you go, folks. There's your NFL teas for today, because I'm not getting any more NFL stuff until, like, probably Friday, because that can't go through a little bit. But Mikey, thanks. What? Let's get
through July 31st and the trade deadline before we break out too much football talk.
Exactly. Save it. I know Big Craig's gonna be like, "Oh, what the NFL time?" No, dude, wake me up in September. I don't even watch preseason football, so to me, this is a moot point. I'll do my over-unders later in August and all that stuff, but beyond that, man, wake me up in September. Period. So
I like it.
Okay, Mikey. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Appreciate it, man. And we did a soft launch today. It's awesome.
Yeah, once we finally got the speaker fixed.
Yeah, by the way, it's your fault.
That was my fault.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, man. Be good.
All right, be good.